But as soon as they started seeing each other and people who looked like them, had a house like them, lived in their area, the community became something that we never could have imagined. One of the most effective things that you can do to build better habits is to join a community or a culture where your desired behavior is normal. This panel was supposed to be about community, and before I get started on what I have to say, I just want to say how grateful I am to be a part of the SANDLOT, JAX, and Go Ruck community here this weekend. It's just an honor to be here. I don't know if this is necessary because Michael kind of gave my background, but for those of you who don't know me, at home, I am a 40-year-old mom of 3 kids under 5, and a wife, okay? In my former life, what feels like a former life, I was a CrossFit Games athlete on the best team in the world. Not who you think, but NorCal CrossFit. And I got to travel the globe for 8 years, working over 300 seminars on the CrossFit seminar team. I know, right? It was crazy. The story that I'm probably asked about the most is in 2012, I was in a car accident while working a seminar, actually, and broke my neck in what's called a hangman's fracture. I had 2 breaks on my C2 vertebrae. And in the emergency room, it was not diagnosed. So for the next 17 days, including the CrossFit Games where I was working on the media team, I walked around with a very unstable fracture that could have paralyzed me, and went into emergency surgery when I got home and was able to come back the next year and compete. People love that story. I am loving this cheering section in the front here. Thank you. Oh, nope, we're not there yet. What I do now is I am the co-founder, along with my husband, Miranda Alcaraz, right here in the front. And CEO of Street Parking. Street Parking is an online fitness. Street Parking is an online fitness program and community committed to providing real people the tools they need to take control of their fitness. This is awesome. Street Parking was founded in 2016, and to date we have right around 35,000 members.
That's so cool!
35,000 members who, like myself and my husband, for the most part, train completely at home, alone, or with small children running around at our feet and asking for snacks, or dogs sometimes. And what we have built is this incredible community that was completely unexpected. So our members can be found all over the globe, from military who use the program while they're deployed to stay connected to their friends and family back home, to our members in Alaska who are so isolated that sometimes they'll go days or weeks without seeing anyone outside of their immediate family, to members who are doing the workouts in their small studio apartments in New York City or in the suburbs of Brisbane, Australia. We cover every demographic. So we've got every age, obviously, right? Every gender, race, religion, you name it, socioeconomic status. And our members have all sorts of gyms available to them. So some of us are in really nice, decked out garage gyms. Some of our members are doing their workouts with their CrossFit affiliates and they use our programming. Some of our members are traveling, whether they're pilots or deployed soldiers, like I mentioned, and they're doing a lot of these workouts in hotel rooms. Others are doing them on the front porch, in the backyard, in their living room, or wherever they can find. What we share is this value of our health and our fitness, regardless of how chaotic our life seems. And what I wanted to share with you today are 3 things that I've learned through running such a big online community about what makes a community great. So the first thing that I've learned in the past 7 years of Street Parking is that a great community starts with shared beliefs and values. that encourage the growth of every single member, but are delivered with honesty and authenticity. And that's the piece that's missing in most of the fitness industry now. So Julian and I had some shared beliefs before we started Street Parking. A belief that the fitness industry, no, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. A belief that the fitness industry had been way too overcomplicated. And it was making people feel like they needed to have a ton of time, a ton of money, a ton of resources to ever be able to achieve lifelong fitness. We knew from experience that that wasn't true. We also believed that what was truly missing in the messaging in the fitness industry is consistency. Just doing something and maintaining that. Because what we had seen, and I had worked in the fitness industry for almost 2 decades, even before Street Parking started, what we would see is that people were on again, off again, on again, off again. And it was because they thought that it needed to be more than it actually does. We also believe that great coaching and a great program can and should be available to anyone regardless of their circumstances. So we started a little Instagram page and a Wodify account. And we never expected the community to get this big. But what happened was, as we started sharing our story and did it in a way that was real and genuine, and we were filming ourselves with our phones and, filming all the demos with our phones and just putting up, I was pregnant at the time when we started Street Parking, and sharing the struggles and how we were figuring out how to do all of this. When we moved into our first house together, we shared all of it and showed it. And what happened was our first original members started doing the same thing. And they were like, oh, well, she's kind of not wearing makeup and their garage is messy, so it's okay for me to have that too. And so I'm going to post that. And I'm going to show that I didn't feel like working out today, so I quit after the 3rd round. And yeah, like I yelled at my kid during the workout today, but that's okay, because they do it too. You know what I mean? So it was this authenticity and this ability now to share who you really were that helped the community grow. Much more than Julian and I ever could have done. Because at the time especially, we were 2 former CrossFit Games athletes. So while we might have been inspirational, we weren't super relatable to a lot of people still. But as soon as they started seeing each other and people who looked like them, had a house like them, lived in their area, the community became something that we never could have imagined. So if you're a Street Parking member, can you please stand up? Stay standing. They built this community. They did this. Them being willing to share their stories and be who they are and share their struggles and support one another has built the most inclusive, inspiring, and just supportive communities that I have ever seen. And we're so grateful for that. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead and sit down. And they did it in the worst place on planet Earth, social media. So you must practice what you preach and believe what you're selling in order to have a great community. The next thing that I wanted to share that is something that we learned is that you don't have to be a big deal to make a big difference. And so I wanted to share some stories from just a few, because I've had to cut this speech down many times to make it fit, and it's probably still going to go over, but thank goodness Dawn gave me a few extra minutes. All right. I wanted to share a few stories from our community that have fundamentally changed me as a coach, as a mom, as a wife, and as a person. And they're people that you're never going to hear about in a book. You're never going to read or listen to a podcast about them. They're not going to be on any talk shows or in any magazines, but they're real people who are willing to share their stories with our community, and just a few examples of who made Street Parking what it is today. And all our members have to do is open up Instagram or open up Facebook, and you're like, I want you to picture for a moment, I don't feel like working out today. We work out alone, most of us, in our homes by ourselves. So you got to be self-motivated. It's like, I don't feel like it. Maybe I'll just do some Netflix or whatever. And you're like, let me just open up Facebook real quick, and you might see, Teresa and Terrell, right here in the front row. Teresa and Terrell wake up before the sun rises every day here in Florida to work out together before their kids wake up so that they can stay connected as a couple and so that they can maintain the value and commitment that they have for their health and fitness as a family. You might open up Facebook and see the story of Chris and Aaron Dexter. This one hit me hard very early on in the street parking community. Their son, Alex, was diagnosed at 1 year old with neuroblastoma. And for a year, they shared his journey through his treatment, but also Chris would share how he was still focused on maintaining his health and fitness so that he could be a better spouse, a better dad to Alex, and a better father to the rest of their family, sometimes showing that he was doing workouts in a hospital room. Now, if you open Facebook and you're feeling a little lazy and you see that, how could you not be motivated to go get something done? You might open it up and see Tanya Bowles with her 72-year-old mom. She trains her several times a week, and she says that she's seen her grow more strong, more confident, and just maintain the sassy attitude through the whole thing. You might see DJ Mullet, who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 25 years old and has shared a lot of that journey with the community. He joined very early on and is currently right now doing the 2,200-mile trek through the Appalachian Trail to raise awareness and to encourage other type 1 diabetics to live life to the fullest. You might see who is just a super mom to me, Ann King. So Ann King has a son who was born with a neurological disorder called Canavan disease. I don't know if disease is the right word, to be honest. But, and he can't move really, but he is a part of every single one of her workouts. And when I see this, how can I not go do something? Most of the workouts that she does are right there in her own living room. Speaking of moms, let's talk about the dads of street parking. Okay? I have to share the story that set this one all off, which is my husband, Julian Alcaraz, who just set the example for all street parking dads when in 2017, he qualified for the CrossFit Games at regionals and turned down his qualifying spot because there was no way he was going to miss the birth of our first son. A lot of people thought he was nuts. The right people wanted to be a part of it. Sarah Hosley, who just this past December had a partial leg amputation because she suffered for 15 years with complications after a BMX accident, has shared her whole story through her surgery and how she's now recovering and encouraging our members that more than nothing is more than okay. Mike Wilcox, who traveled around in his truck as a trucker and would take his Go-Ruck sandbag out to a picnic area and get the workout done. And he said that when he found out he could do ground to overhead with his sandbag inside the truck, that he knew he really had no more excuses. Monica Alfalfa, I want to make sure I say that right. Yes, Monica Alfalfa, who is changing an entire community in American Samoa by teaching them and telling them you don't need a lot of money and resources to take control of your health, and your health is your responsibility. And finally, Peter and Tina Kim, who joined street parking when their gym was closed down during the pandemic as new parents and felt so supported by the community that they wanted to give back. And what better way than to take up TikTok dancing to make us all laugh and smile. The third thing that I've learned about a great community is that a great community recognizes seasons and stages and setbacks are a part of life. A great community will push you when it's the time for you to be pushed and do things that you didn't think that you can do. A great community, especially in our community, will push you to be consistent and remind you that consistency is more important than what it looks like. A great community also will tell you when it's time to slow down and it's okay to take it a little bit easy. And of course, a great community will encourage you to have fun and not to take yourself so seriously. I hope that regardless of how you identify in your fitness life, whether it's I identify as a CrossFitter, part of the Go Ruck tribe, maybe I love my Peloton bike, I'm a street parking member, maybe all of it, that these stories help remind you that when life comes, because it will for all of us, some of us are probably in some pretty hairy situations right now, that you're not alone, that you can do this. There are thousands of people around the world making it work with what they've got and doing their very best. And that is more impressive to me than anything I ever experienced or saw on the competition floor at the CrossFit Games or training with the best athletes in the world. You guys are inspiring. Share your stories and support one another because we couldn't do this without you. Thank you.